Nietzsche, Kierkegaard, and the search for meaning. The turning point of the 19th century. The end of the century was a time when philosophical thought was deeply shaken. Europe was undergoing major transformations with scientific and technological advancements. But this progress also brought a crisis of meaning. Humanity began to look at not only God but also reason and science with doubt. It was during this period that two important philosophers, Friedrich Nietzsche and Søren Kierkegaard, asked questions that would change the course of history. Friedrich Nietzsche is one of the most influential and striking figures in modern philosophy. According to Nietzsche, the 19th century was the era in which humanity declared the death of God. This, of course, is not a physical death. It meant that God had lost his meaning in human life. Nietzsche expressed this situation with these words: "God is dead, God remains dead, and we have killed him." So what does this mean? According to Nietzsche, the Enlightenment's rationality and the rise of science destroyed traditional values and religious beliefs. However, this destruction left a huge void: nihilism. Nihilism is the idea that life has no objective meaning or purpose. The destruction of traditional values left man alone in a meaningless world. For Nietzsche, this situation was both a danger and an opportunity, because the collapse of old values opened up a space for man to recreate himself. The concept of the Superman is a symbol of this recreation. The Superman does not find meaning outside but within himself and creates his own values. At a time when Nietzsche opened nihilism up for debate, Søren Kierkegaard focused on man and the search for meaning from a completely different perspective. Kierkegaard is considered the pioneer of modern existentialism. According to him, human life can only gain meaning through individual choice. For Kierkegaard, existence is not an abstract concept but a personal experience. Man is like a fork in the road in his life. He either follows the values imposed by the crowd, that is, society, or discovers his own existential freedom. This is not an easy choice, because freedom brings with it anxiety and responsibility. Kierkegaard puts it this way: freedom is like a cliff that frightens man. Man's confrontation with this precipice, that is, his creation of his own meaning, makes his existence unique. Kierkegaard approaches the individual's search for meaning through faith. According to him, true meaning lies in the individual and sincere belief in God. However, this is not a dogmatic understanding of religion. It is a faith that the individual reaches through his own inner experience. Nietzsche and Kierkegaard, walking on different paths, focused on the same problem: the individual's search for meaning. Nietzsche, declaring the destruction of traditional values, confronted man with nihilism and called for the creation of new values. Kierkegaard, on the other hand, emphasized the importance of existential freedom by focusing on individual experience and belief. These two thinkers laid the foundations of modern philosophy at the end of the 19th century. Nietzsche's nihilism and Kierkegaard's existentialism deeply influenced the philosophical currents of the 20th century. Sartre's understanding of freedom, Heidegger's analyses of existence, and even Camus' philosophy of the absurd, they all drew on this tradition of thought. Today, Nietzsche's words, "God is dead," and Kierkegaard's existential anxieties are still relevant. Instead of finding meaning ready-made, man has to create it in his own existence. These questions remain not only of the 19th century, but perhaps the most fundamental questions in human history. What is the meaning of life? Who determines our values? How can we stand up in the face of nihilism? Nietzsche and Kierkegaard gave radical but also very personal answers to these questions, and perhaps understanding these two thinkers can be a starting point for us to begin our own search for meaning.